What appeared to be a normal Mother's Day photo by Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is now causing a lot of controversy and raising questions. 5 major news agencies have now stopped distributing the photo, saying it appears to be digitally manipulated in a way that does not meet their standards.
Right. So the move has prompted an apology from the princess herself. And here's the photo at the center of it all. You can see where, the AP said we're not doing this anymore. But at first glance, it looks like your average snapshot of a mom with her kids. But when you start to zoom in on it, you really start to see some issues. There was the sleeve of Princess Charlotte's sweater, the zipper on Kate's jacket. I think for me personally, Prince Louis's right hand, it's kind of an awkward position. At the tip of his index finger, you can't even see it. Also notable, Kate's not wearing her wedding ring. There's a lot of little pieces to this.
Some red flags popping up, especially considering, that there's been some speculation about the health of Princess Kate. So for more on this, we are joined by a face that you may have seen on TV often. Hilary Fordich is a British royals and global business commentator for multiple networks. So thanks so much for being here. Kate has come out and said, this is me, it's my fault, I'm the one who edited this, and sometimes I like to dabble in amateur editing. Okay, how much should we believe that? Is the princess actually editing her own photos?
Well, actually, you're right about her issuing this apology. She didn't actually say in the statement, though, that I edited this. She said, like many amateur photographers, I do dabble in editing photographs. She didn't actually say this one, which is rather interesting, the way maybe she was skirting that. But I think a few things that are very interesting. She was just seen, by the way, again, she was in a car on the way from Adelaide Cottage on the Windsor estate to the Commonwealth Services with Prince William. She won't be attending that, only he will be. So we do know she's fine. One of the issues around this, of course, is the "where is Kate" phenomenon that has occurred on Twitter in terms of after her surgery, her disappearance. So obviously the photograph was released trying to basically calm all of that down on Twitter. It actually has backfired, as you mentioned, because now the firestorm is all about the editing of the photograph. I will mention, though, it's not the first royal photograph that's been edited, and there's been these concerns. The issue is there were so many. You mentioned accurately there, very many of them. An additional one is right behind her in this photograph. There is a blooming tree. Well, trees aren't blooming in early March in London, in Windsor, I can assure you of that.
I mean, I just got to speak for the people that are like, not, about the royals, and maybe they're seeing all this drumming up on Twitter, on X, whatever, and thinking, people post photos all the time that aren't from the actual day of when they happened. They bring stuff back, they edit it poorly. So could you explain maybe why this has ballooned to what it's become at this point? You said it's kicked up a lot of drama and this didn't help tamper it down, but for the viewer going like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, it actually has created a firestorm across the world. You're correct there. The issue here is one thing and one word. It is trust. We have always been able to, pretty much, not always, usually been able to trust what comes out of Buckingham Palace and the palaces. They're looked at by the British public, and I believe the Commonwealth and the world, as the bastions of propriety in terms of honesty, integrity. When they decline to comment, there could be some innuendos there, or they'll refute things. But when the former Queen Elizabeth, would make a statement and Buckingham Palace would issue a statement, it was rock solid and we could depend on it. And this is the issue for the world, I think, is, now are we to trust things that come out, whether it's a photograph, whether it's a statement? I think what it definitely shows, this is not Queen Elizabeth's palace any longer. And I think it also shows that you have maybe people who aren't as expert as they need to be. The controls aren't there. The staff isn't there that they used to have. And maybe in this modern era and world, as you mentioned, so quickly, everything zips around the world with modern social media. They need to have experts in place that would have prevented this from happening, because the 5 agencies that refused to use this photograph, including Getty and AP, etc., they know their stuff, so the caliber at the palace needs to be upped.
And on that note, Lauren and I were discussing this in break. This is a photo. This isn't just any photo. This is coming at a time where there's already speculation about the princess's health from the abdominal surgery. The question you mentioned, where's Kate? You would think issuing a photo like this would be scrutinized, overly scrutinized. They would be zooming in so closely because they know there are people who have a big question mark about where she is, her health, her absence to all these events. So what is going on? Does this signal a bigger issue within the royal family?
No, absolutely. There is something going on there. One thing we all know is that King Charles had stated before he even became monarch, but King Charles has stated that he wanted a slimmed down monarchy. Not only is it slimmed down in terms of the number of official royals on official engagements, but they have actually slimmed down the staff. And that's where you're beginning to see problems, because you're seeing this actually not being as professional as it needs to be. It should be the top caliber. And I think most importantly, they're out of step with modern media, the speed at which things happen. And you're right about the scrutiny. There is global scrutiny that has never been experienced. And there's the intrusiveness of not just the public issuances, but also the paparazzi, because there was a photograph of her, Kate Middleton was in the car, the Princess of Wales, with her mother on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Now, in the UK, the paparazzi and the regular press and the tabloids and the broadsheets refused to use the photograph. For the rest of the world, including here in the US, it was published. So what you're seeing is the world at watch of what they're doing, and they need to, as I mentioned before, they need to up their game in terms of professionalism.
So interesting. I think we often forget that the royal family, they're paid by taxpayers there. So their staff is funded by everyone there. Thanks so much, royal commentator Hillary Fordich. Thanks so much for your insight.